The name Sandstorm has been used and reused not just for Generation 1, but it's been tossed around, including for a Generation 2 Seeker repaint of Ramjet that was never actually released. It seemed this version of Sandstorm was long forgotten, but when the Warfare Cybertron Selects line had announced a couple of Generation 2 Voyager class figures, it came with the surprise of a repaint based on this lost prototype. Do you know how many times the Earthrise Ramjet mold has been repainted? Every time the Earth mode jet needs a cone head, they use this, but I love these colors. Yes, it's brown, but I can see this in the dust storm flying around. Or technically hardly see it, but that's the point. The camo uses brown splotches over the tan with lighter particles throughout, though it seems absent behind the legs. I like the painted tail fins, large boosters, and brown Decepticon logos to match, along with the shark mouth print perfectly placed on the nose. Dum dum dum. It's incredibly slick with the wings creating this triangle form. There's kibble, but come on, we knew that. There's a portal on top, but you can add the null ray style weapons under the wings. Optionally, you can bring them closer to the body with the other peg holes. So far, this dusty looking jet seems like a good choice, but I usually like a good desert camo on something. Robot mode. You can see that Sandstorm kinda loses the camo with the robot bits, but I like the overpowering use of the creamy tan with black and brown in places. I think out of any Earthrise Seeker, this could do with a nice wash, especially when you spot the textured sculpt work in the shins, body, and arms. You could tuck in the wings if you like, but I like the lighter paint used for the knees and shoulder vents with the red dots. The nipples are black, which is concerning, and the overall shape is very much like the classic Seeker. So much so that it's like, well, the classic Seeker from the Classics line. He looks like Sandstorm, depending on who you ask. He's got the typical cone head-shaped head with a black painted face, red eyes, tan helmet, and oh yeah, the cone. It's almost like articulation! Ball-jointed head, shoulders out and in, forward to back rotation below, elbow bend, hips out and in, forward to back rotation below, knee bend, toes, heels, and foot tilt. Well, the joints seem solid enough, but the lack of a waist sets it backwards. I'm fine, I own figures without a waist joint, and I still like them. It's the exposed flap that worries me. Let's take a look at the accessories. He includes two null ray style weapons that don't belong in the hands, you psycho, but the shoulders instead. He also has portholes in the feet, legs, wings, hands, underarms, shoulders, and back if you flip out the extended helmet mabobber. I know we've seen this multiple times, and I'm sure most of you have held this mold whether you like it or not, but I love these more obscure Seekers, mostly because they make for a good army building tool for the Decepticons. Sandstorm has always been one I wanted to exist in some form, and I'm glad to see that Hasbro picked up on this idea. I like the desert camo, so if you're interested like I was, then perhaps this is another figure to look into. Just watch out because apparently the lower arms could yellow. Just make sure your cat doesn't poop on it.
AllSpark TV, now that's just prime.